Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back. Today we got our first official trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of anticipation behind this as well, especially kind of getting our first glimpse and our first look in action for the Fantastic Four that we've gotten in a long time. I remember seeing the original two films that came out a long time ago. Just Alba and Chris Evans and stuff like that. And I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. The second one, maybe not as much. I do remember seeing both of those films in theaters. I never actually saw Fan 4 Stick though. The trailers just never really sold me on it. I didn't really like the look of it, the aesthetic that they were going for, or the tone or the vibe, and then the word of mouth just really didn't help. I'm curious to see what this film's going to do and how it's going to incorporate everybody into the MCU. I've heard there talks about this being a separate universe. I've heard talks about them being in the past, much like with Hank Pym and Janet's whole little adventures in the MCU. Maybe it's something that happened back then and we are just now hearing about it, or again, like I said, it's just its own universe. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what it is all about. I do like the cast that they've got handpicked for each one of these characters so far, and I'm excited to see how they pull this off. So let's go ahead and without any further ado, check out the trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps. Here we go.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7.
I love the retro futuristic vibe of everything. Yo. Yo.
Okay. Is this guy good or what?
Oh, I love the way he looks.
Not because it's not delicious. I just want to add a little bit of zip. Okay.
Hey, he knows his way around a kitchen.
T-5. Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible.
Oh, whoa.
That wasn't a rock. The best pilot in the world right here.
Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Dude.
Has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
Always been on fire.
And I am right here.
Oh.
Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Yo. Yeah, this has got to be a different universe, man. Oh.
As a family.
Fantastic Four. Oh. I think Michael Giacchino's doing the score for this too. God, that was good. He's got such a unique sound, and I think for this, it just fits. I love the vibe. I love the aesthetic. I love the whole approach that they're going for. I think aesthetically, just looking at this, you could tell it's got to be a separate universe. I think that's a given the state of the technology, the look and feel of these cities, the buildings and everything like that. The technology, as in a way, is as if it's frozen but advanced. But each of them looks great. Ben looks fantastic, right off the page, fantastic. Again, I enjoy the casting. From Sue to Reed to Ben, and even with Johnny. I know a lot of people were kind of after Stranger Things, tired of seeing Joseph Quinn for one reason or the other, and I'm not one of those people. I'm excited to see him in this role, and I like how she was saying, despite the incident, despite the first time we went up into space, despite how things turned out and what happened to us, in a way, she's talking about how, despite the physical alterations, it's really just accentuated what we already were. She was saying, oh, this was before Ben was a rock. And it's well, he's always been our rock. Johnny's Johnny. He's impulsive. He's excitable. He's a fireball of personality. And Sue, maybe while Reed is on his own world, she's I'm always here despite being invisible. The concept, the idea of not being seen, not being here, but she always is. And whether she's seen or not, she's always there. And I like that sentiment, kind of the way that she's talking about the family as a whole. I really like that vibe. And that was Galactus's freaking head. That was Galactus's head looming over the city there. What is what what is the scope and scale of this film going to be? That's something I'm kind of curious about. And how is this going to fit into what they are currently building towards with the greater MCU and everything also on top of all of that? I'm really freaking curious, how this is going to fit in. I mean, again, it's not like outright said, but I think like you could take everything just at face value and assume again that this is another universe. But we also know that Monica is trapped in also another universe with, Kelsey Grammer's Beast, her mother in the X-Men, as we've seen with Multiverse of Madness and stuff. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm wondering if this is this world connected to any one of the ones we have already seen, or is it yet another offshoot, a new one that we haven't stepped into yet? And I would imagine, like as it did in the comics, after Secret Wars and all of that, there's going to be some kind of soft reboot. And I think a lot of these separate things that the MCU maybe hasn't taken the opportunity to, or didn't have the ability to incorporate some of these elements when it started off, when it was taking its first steps, when it was learning to walk, when it was starting to run, that now that it's had found its stride and is now trying to figure out where it's going to go next, is kind of in this transitionary period of trying to find what that next stage of its life is going to be like. Now that they have all these different playgrounds that they can play with now, I would imagine the next step is going to be finding a way to organically bring those things into the fold. So I think my assumption is after Secret Wars, we're going to get like a soft reboot of the main 616 timeline and bring these things in. By the end of it all, the Fantastic Four will be on our world. By the end of it all, the X-Men proper will be in our world. Blah, 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 blah. All the things that haven't been, all the groundwork wasn't available at the time of the MCU's inception. That's going to be fixed retroactively with like a reboot or soft retcon of the timeline after all of that. That's kind of my speculation, but that's getting way, way, way ahead into everything. But I kind of just want to watch this one more time.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the
Love
dot,
his
no matter
like
what. We're all here.
old Tommy accent.
Kirby, how's that sauce coming? Yeah, I'll be the
Love
judge
the
of that.
suits.
Okay. Okay, is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
T-5. Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock. The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never got
That
fired.
shot, it just reminds me of Raphael in the first Turtles
There's
movie.
always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Through the cars. That shot right
As a
there.
family.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this. I gotta say, like with a lot of projects with Marvel, I feel like I'm kind of a broken record every time we get a new trailer for something. Until I see something for it, I do find it very difficult to be hyped and excited anymore. This has been the way I've felt ever since, the conclusion of Endgame, it's been that quest for getting excited for the next thing. And the only thing I have that excitement for without any kind of assist or whatever is Daredevil Born Again. And that's just because it comes with the fact that I absolutely loved the Netflix series. So it's bringing that along, getting to see those characters back and getting to see that story kind of continue. But with the film stuff, it's just been like, you know, it's been like, yeah, I'll check it out. You know, I'll see it when it comes out. But I haven't been like, oh my God, I need this injected into my veins. Once I see a trailer, I'm just like, even for some of these movies where when they were announced, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's I see. I understand how we're getting to that and why we're doing it. But, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I'll see it. That's been like my level of attitude for most things with Thunderbolts, with Captain America. You know, once we see the trailer and then the trailer, the visuals, the music, the editing, that's when the flame kind of gets lit. And that's how I'm feeling about this. You know, I was always very curious about this because I knew it would have to feel so different from anything we've had up until this point. And then there's just the idea of how it fits in, how they're being incorporated into the universe. There's a lot of questions surrounding about this one, where everything else, everything just kind of makes sense. Like, it's just like, okay, a Thunderbolts movie makes sense. A Captain America movie with Sam at the helm makes sense. And then it's Fantastic Four. I was like, okay, how? Like, that's the question that comes to mind almost immediately. And I think we know the how. I think we've always kind of known the how, or at least had a strong inkling as towards what that was going to be like. But again, it's just one of those things where it's just everything's just kind of up in the air until it's here. Seeing it and the feel, the vibe, the tone, the visuals, it has definitely got me really perked up, I'll say. You know, I do understand, yeah, we got a little bit of a showcase of everybody's powers but Mr. Fantastic himself in this trailer, and I would imagine they're probably going to save that one as well. It's also the one I feel like it's the hardest to translate over in a way that looks really good. You know, the first iteration that I've seen kind of tackle that kind of aesthetic in a pleasing manner in live action has been the One Piece live action of all things. I think they handle Luffy's stretching ability really, really well. And it's always something that's always going to challenge the uncanny valley. It's always going to challenge the audience. We saw a little bit of it, obviously, with Reed Richards' appearance in Multiverse of Madness. But I understand them not leading or not taking even their first step by showcasing that here just yet. We got to see the other three kind of show off a little glimpse of their current status, but we did kind of hold back when it came to Reed himself. I hope that's not a bad sign, but I think maybe they're holding that out, that little treat for us until we get the full trailer, because this is a teaser after all. Also, who is that old dude? I don't know. I couldn't recognize him. Like, the eyes look familiar, but with the beard, the hair, and the mustache and everything, I couldn't make out who that was. Didn't recognize him just outright as any particular character. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that one. I'm really curious. I'm really excited to see how they're going to tackle our first family. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you guys thought. How do you feel? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If it did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Make sure to stick around for more reactions. And before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. I'm going to share it. Your course, God, Robert Alguiano, Jeffrey L, Jake Cottrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, Russell Crockett, and Watchtower. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.